Some voices whisper life into your soul, while others steal your light, leaving shadows where your brilliance should shine. Today, I invite you to step into courage, to recognize those who dim your spirit, and to understand that letting them go is not cruelty, it is honor. Honor for your heart, your dreams, and your very being. For life is too short, and your soul too precious to carry the weight of negativity that belongs to someone else. There is a quiet power in understanding the value of your own energy. It is not something to give away lightly, nor something to scatter carelessly on those who do not see its worth. Your spirit is a rare jewel, one that shines brightest when nourished and respected. Every laugh, every tear, every thought you allow into your being adds to this precious light. To protect your energy is to honor your own journey, to say without words that you deserve the space to grow, to flourish, and to breathe freely without the weight of another's darkness pressing upon you. Negativity has a way of creeping in, soft and silent, wrapped in words that sound like concern, or gestures that masquerade as love. But even in the guise of care, it can drain the soul, dim the fire, and leave a quiet ache in its wake. To protect your energy is to recognize this quietly, to see it as a shadow in your path, and to step deliberately away. It is not selfish to walk away from what hurts you. It is sacred. And in this sacred act, you claim your power. You remind yourself that your light cannot be dimmed by those who do not wish to see it shine. There will always be people who demand more than you can give, who take more than they offer, who speak words heavy with criticism or doubt. These are not your battles to carry. Your energy is not a currency to be spent on pleasing others at the cost of your own peace. You must learn to guard it, to create boundaries, and to recognize that your yes or your no is not a rejection of humanity, but a declaration of self-respect. It is the difference between being alive and truly living. Protecting your energy also means being intentional with those who enter your life. Surround yourself with voices that uplift, with hearts that inspire, with souls that encourage you to reach higher. Let their presence be a balm, not a burden. In the quiet spaces of your mind, choose reflection over reaction, love over resentment, and wisdom over distraction. Your spirit is a garden, and you are the keeper. What you allow in will either nourish the roots or choke them with weeds. Protecting your energy is tending to that garden with care, courage, and unwavering attention. And when you choose to protect your energy, you honor not only yourself, but the potential of your life. You create room for joy, for clarity, for growth, and for dreams that demand attention. Life will ask you to give, to fight, to bend, and to serve, but never allow it to ask you to sacrifice the very essence that makes you whole. Protect your energy, and in doing so, you protect the most beautiful gift you are ever given, you. There are people who come into our lives with smiles on their faces, but with shadows in their hearts. They speak with voices that, though gentle in tone, carry doubt, criticism, and fear, seeping quietly into your thoughts. At first, you may not notice it, for their presence is wrapped in familiarity or kindness. But slowly, their words weigh heavy, their complaints settle in the corners of your mind, and the air around you becomes thick with tension. To recognize these drains is not to judge them. It is to see clearly where your energy is being stolen, where your spirit is being asked to carry burdens that do not belong to it. It takes courage to see these patterns, for the drains are often disguised as loyalty, advice, or concern. They may speak of your dreams as impossible, your passions as foolish, your hope as naive. They may whisper that you are not enough, or that the world is too harsh for your aspirations. And if you are not careful, you will begin to carry their doubts as if they were your own. Recognizing the drains is to notice the subtle erosion of your confidence, to feel the heaviness in your chest after conversations, and to trust the quiet voice inside that knows your worth. Do not mistake tolerance for love. True love uplifts, nurtures, and encourages, even when it speaks hard truths. Those who drain your energy do not leave you better than they found you. They leave you questioning yourself, uncertain of your steps, and fearful of your own light. To recognize them is to understand that your life is too precious to hand over to those who do not celebrate it. It is not cruelty to distance yourself. It is preservation. It is an act of profound self-respect to step back from those who dim the fire within you, and it is the first step toward freedom. Recognizing the drains also means learning to listen to your own inner compass. The world is full of voices, and some of them will seek to shape your path to suit their own fears or limitations. But within you is a deeper voice, a steady rhythm that knows when the company around you is poisoning your joy. Trust it. When your spirit feels small in the presence of another, when conversations leave you tired rather than inspired, when laughter feels forced and your heart heavy, these are the signs. These are the quiet alarms that urge you to step away, to reclaim the energy that belongs to you alone. And when you finally recognize the drains, a remarkable thing happens. You begin to see the people who truly belong in your life, the ones who lift you with their presence, who challenge you with love, and who celebrate your victories without envy. Life becomes lighter, not because the world has changed, but because you have chosen clarity over chaos. The drains lose their power the moment you refuse to give them space in your mind, heart, and time. Recognizing them is not just wisdom, it is liberation. It is the moment you declare to the universe and to yourself that your life will be nourished, not depleted, and that your energy is sacred. There is a quiet strength in knowing that your worth is not determined by the applause of others, nor by the approval of those who cannot see your heart. Too often we bend and twist ourselves to fit the expectations of the world, seeking validation in places where it was never meant to be found. But the truth is, the measure of your value lies not in who nods in agreement or praises your choices, but in the depth of your integrity, the courage of your convictions, and the love you carry for yourself. To claim your self-worth is to step boldly into your own light, whether the world notices it or not. We live in a world that constantly whispers, "You are not enough." Voices tell us that our dreams are too big, our steps too small, our time too limited. And if we listen too closely, we begin to believe it, trading our joy for the fleeting comfort of acceptance. Yet the heart knows a different truth. It knows that each of us is born with a brilliance that cannot be measured by anyone else's standards. To embrace self-worth over approval is to listen to that inner voice, to honor your instincts, and to give yourself permission to rise, even when others hesitate to cheer. There will always be those who judge, those who criticize, those who cast shadows of doubt upon the paths we choose. It is tempting to shrink, to soften, to dim our presence in order to make them comfortable. But shrinking never brings peace. It only leaves an emptiness that echoes with regret. When you prioritize self-worth over approval, you release the chains of needing to please everyone, and you allow yourself to live authentically. You learn that your happiness, your dreams, and your sense of purpose are not negotiable commodities. They are yours and yours alone. Embracing your self-worth is not arrogance, it is clarity. It is understanding that your light is not meant to be hidden, that your voice is meant to be heard, and that your journey is yours to walk with dignity. Those who truly care for you will celebrate your growth, even if it challenges them. And those who do not will drift away, revealing themselves not as enemies, but as opportunities for discernment. Every step you take in honoring your value teaches the world how to treat you, and more importantly, teaches yourself what you are willing to accept. When you live from a place of self-worth, the world changes in subtle but profound ways. Doors open where before there were walls. Relationships flourish where once there was strain. Opportunities appear that align with your soul rather than your fear of judgment. And within you grows a quiet, unshakable confidence, a knowing that you are enough exactly as you are, without compromise, without permission, without apology. To prioritize self-worth over approval is to choose freedom. It is to step into the life you were meant to live, with courage in your chest and light in your eyes. There comes a moment in every life when holding on to certain people feels heavier than letting go. The ties that once felt comforting begin to pull at your spirit, and you realize that love and loyalty cannot flourish where trust and respect are absent. It is in that moment, standing at the edge of familiarity and freedom, that courage must rise. To let go of those who dim your light is not an act of betrayal, it is an act of bravery. It is a declaration that your soul deserves space to breathe, to grow, and to shine without interruption. Letting go is never easy. It comes with questions that haunt the quiet corners of the mind. Am I wrong? Am I cruel? Am I abandoning them? But the heart knows the truth. Staying in the company of those who bring more pain than peace does not honor your past, nor does it protect your future. True courage is not measured by how long you can endure suffering in silence. It is measured by your willingness to step away, to release what no longer serves your journey, and to trust that life will fill the void with what truly belongs. When you find the strength to let go, you may feel loss, for the familiar is often disguised as safety, yet what you release is not a piece of your heart, it is the weight that has been holding your heart down. Releasing someone who saps your energy does not diminish your capacity for love. It clears the way for deeper connections that honor your soul. The act of letting go is sacred, a form of self-respect that whispers, I will not compromise my peace for another's discomfort. I will not sacrifice my joy to maintain the illusion of togetherness. Courage to let go also demands patience with yourself. There is no timetable for detaching from those who have been part of your life. Emotions do not obey reason, and the heart does not heal on command. Yet every small step away, every boundary drawn, every quiet act of self-preservation is a testament to your strength. It is proof that you are learning the language of your own needs, that you are prioritizing your own growth over the inertia of old patterns. There is a profound truth in the company we keep, for the people who walk beside us leave footprints on our hearts. Some bring warmth, light, and laughter, lifting us when the weight of the world presses too heavily. Others, even without intention, sow seeds of doubt, fear, or envy, clouding the path with shadows that slow our stride. To choose your circle wisely is to recognize that the energy of those around you is contagious. It shapes the way you see yourself, the way you dream, and the way you move through life. Not every familiar face belongs in your inner circle. Friends, family, colleagues, they can all be part of your story, yet not all are meant to journey with you through your growth. It takes discernment to notice who lifts you with kindness and who drains you with expectation. True companions are rare treasures. They celebrate your victories without jealousy, listen without judgment, and encourage your heart to expand even when the world doubts you. Choosing wisely means seeking these souls and allowing their presence to remind you of your own worth. To surround yourself with the right people is not a rejection of the rest of the world, but a declaration of self-respect. Life is too short to expend energy pleasing those who cannot celebrate your light. Every conversation, every shared moment either nourishes or depletes the spirit. It is within your power to recognize which is which and to take steps toward nurturing the bonds that sustain you. A circle that lifts you will challenge you, not to break you, but to help you grow. It will inspire you, not to compete, but to become the best version of yourself. There is courage in setting these boundaries. It may be uncomfortable at first, for letting go of familiar patterns often is. Yet, as you step away from relationships that no longer serve your growth, you make room for connection that does. You create a space in your life where your energy can thrive, your dreams can expand, and your joy can be shared without compromise. It is not a selfish act, it is wisdom. Choosing your circle wisely allows your life to echo with positivity, purpose, and the kind of love that nurtures rather than confines. And as you cultivate this circle, something miraculous happens. You begin to recognize the reflection of your own soul in those around you. The laughter of friends who genuinely care becomes a melody that strengthens your spirit. The encouragement of those who believe in you becomes the wind beneath your wings. You no longer need the approval of everyone, for you are held by those who see and honor your light. Life becomes a dance of shared dreams, mutual respect, and collective growth. Choosing your circle wisely is not just about protection, it is about creating a community where your soul can flourish, where your energy is cherished, and where your life can blossom into its fullest expression. And when the weight of the past finally lifts, you discover something remarkable: freedom. Not the loud freedom of dramatic gestures, but the quiet, unshakable freedom of a soul that has claimed its space in the world. You breathe more deeply, think more clearly, and live more fully. Letting go transforms what once felt like loss into liberation. It teaches that bravery is not measured by how much you endure, but by how fiercely you protect your right to thrive. It reminds you that to love yourself is the most revolutionary act of all, and that courage is always born in the willingness to release what no longer nurtures your life. Forgiveness is a gift you give not to those who have wronged you, but to yourself. It is a release of the burden that bitterness and anger place upon the heart, a quiet surrender that allows your spirit to breathe again. To forgive does not mean to forget, and it certainly does not mean to invite back the very hands that have caused you pain. Forgiveness is a declaration that you will no longer carry the weight of another's choices, that your soul is too precious to be chained to resentment. Letting go of anger can be the hardest work of all, for it is easy to mistake it for strength. We hold grudges as shields, thinking that if we remain wounded, we remain safe. But true safety comes not from holding on to the past, but from stepping forward with clarity and grace. Forgiveness untangles the knots that bitterness weaves, softening the sharp edges of memory and freeing the heart to feel again. It is a quiet, powerful act that tells the world and yourself that you will not be imprisoned by the pain inflicted upon you. And yet, forgiveness does not demand that you reopen the doors of your life to those who have harmed you. There is wisdom in maintaining distance, in refusing to return to relationships that diminish your joy or steal your energy. To forgive and to return are not one and the same. They are two distinct choices. Forgiveness is freedom. Return is risk. When you choose not to return, you honor your boundaries and protect the sacred space of your soul. You recognize that love and trust are not obligations, but treasures to be shared wisely. Forgiveness also carries with it a quiet strength. It is the ability to acknowledge hurt without allowing it to define you, the courage to release the anger without erasing your own worth. When you forgive, you reclaim power over your story. You declare that your life will not be dictated by the cruelty or negligence of others. And when you choose not to return, you assert that your future will not be compromised by the past. Both acts together form a shield and a shield to protect your spirit, and a key to unlock your heart to hope, to joy, and to growth. The moment you forgive, yet do not return, you step into a new form of liberation. You honor the lessons learned, but refuse to remain a student in a classroom of harm. You understand that love does not require repetition of pain, that compassion does not demand compromise of self-respect, and that healing is an act of radical courage. In this space, you cultivate peace, clarity, and resilience. You allow your heart to mend without reopening old wounds. You learn that forgiveness is not weakness, that distance is not hate, and that the soul that protects itself is a soul that thrives. There is a quiet tension in every life between the familiar and the extraordinary, between comfort and growth. The world often tells us to cling to what is safe, to stay where the water is calm, and to avoid the turbulence of change. Yet, it is in the very spaces of discomfort that the soul stretches, the mind expands, and the heart discovers its courage. Growth demands that we step beyond the familiar, that we release what no longer serves us, and that we move into unknown territories where greatness waits to be born. Letting go is never painless. It asks us to loosen our grip on what feels secure, even when it no longer nourishes our spirit. There will be fear, for the mind is quick to warn us of danger, of loss, of failure. And yet, each moment of letting go, each choice to move forward, is a declaration that our lives are meant for more than mere survival. Growth whispers to us in those uneasy moments, reminding us that the soul cannot bloom while buried in the soil of comfort. It asks us to trust the unseen, to walk by faith, and to honor the possibilities that stretch beyond the horizon. Comfort is seductive, for it offers familiarity, routine, and the illusion of safety. But comfort is also a cage, a velvet prison that keeps the heart small and the mind limited. Growth does not promise ease, but it promises transformation. It asks that we confront our fears, challenge our limitations, and rise to meet the unknown with courage. Each step into discomfort is a seed planted in the soil of our potential, and though it may tremble at first, it carries within it the promise of greatness that no familiar corner of life can provide. To choose growth over comfort is to prioritize the life you are capable of living over the life that is simply convenient. It is to honor your ambitions, your passions, and the deepest longings of your heart. It is to recognize that pain, struggle, and uncertainty are not enemies, but teachers that prepare us for the fullness of our journey. When we embrace growth, we invite challenges that stretch us, lessons that refine us, and experiences that awaken the strength and resilience hidden within us all along. And when we finally step beyond the veil of comfort, we discover the rewards of courage. Life becomes richer, not because it is easier, but because we have dared to move where we were once afraid to go. The heart swells with pride, the mind expands with clarity, and the soul dances with freedom. Choosing growth over comfort is the silent act of rebellion against mediocrity. It is the promise we make to ourselves that our lives will not be defined by fear, complacency, or hesitation, but by the courage to seek the extraordinary. In the discomfort of letting go, we find the space to become the people we were always meant to be, and in that space, greatness blooms. There is a joy that comes when the weight of negativity is lifted, a clarity that shines when the voices that once pulled at your spirit are no longer present. To celebrate your freedom is to honor the courage it took to cut ties with what no longer served you, to embrace the space you have created for your own growth and peace. This freedom is not loud or boastful. It is quiet, profound, and steady, a gentle affirmation that your life belongs to you and you alone. Cutting negativity from your life is often mistaken for loss, as if letting go means surrendering something valuable. But what you are releasing is not treasure, it is burden. It is the doubt, the resentment, the criticism, and the fear that others imposed upon your heart. When you remove these weights, you are not emptying yourself. You are opening your soul to possibility. You are reclaiming the time, the energy, and the love that belongs to you. And in doing so, you begin to live with a newfound clarity and purpose. Freedom is not just the absence of negativity, it is the presence of choice. It is the power to decide who you allow near your heart, what thoughts you nurture, and which dreams you pursue. It is the ability to speak your truth without fear of judgment, to walk boldly into your purpose, and to dance in the sunlight of your own becoming. Every moment of liberation reminds you that your spirit is yours to protect, your energy yours to cherish, and your life yours to shape. Celebrating your freedom also means embracing the fullness of who you are. It is saying yes to yourself in ways you may have been afraid to before. It is choosing joy over fear, hope over despair, and growth over stagnation. The people, places, and patterns you release are not failures. They are teachers who have shown you what you do not need so that you can focus on what you truly deserve. In this celebration, gratitude rises, for even in letting go, you recognize the lessons that brought you to this moment of empowerment. And when you celebrate your freedom, you realize that life has become lighter, brighter, and more expansive. You walk with confidence, speak with clarity, and dream without hesitation. Your spirit, once encumbered, now soars freely, drawing toward it opportunities, connections, and experiences that honor your true self. Freedom is not just the act of removing negativity, it is the art of embracing your worth, protecting your light, and living with intention. It is the quiet, unwavering triumph of a soul that has learned to rise above what diminishes it and to celebrate all that it can be.